Hello, this is Ronan Chris Murphy, and I am in the studio producing the new album for Gwar, which got announced to the press around the world last week, so we better get this done. But I just want to share with you how I'm approaching the guitars on this record. And if you listen to the last album I produced for them called The Blood of Gods, you'll hear something very similar. So there's kind of three things that I'm doing which are kind of important for the kind of record I'm trying to make. One of the first is we're actually using mostly real amps for all the sort of big rhythm guitar stuff. Ballsack, the Jaws of Death, actually has a fractal rig that he's done a lot of cool sound design stuff. So when there's interesting sounds or very signature sounds that are important, creatively part of the song, we're using those. But we are using real amps, mostly a whole bunch of different Marshalls and a Laney and a Fender Bassman to do most of the rhythms. Because in my experience, you know, real tube amps just sit better in mixes. I'm able to actually push those to the forward in the mix where they really pop out front and they don't really end up fighting the other elements. So one of the challenges I have with a lot of the amp emulators is that they can sound pretty cool on their own, but they don't always play well with others. And so it's a lot easier for me to get kind of traditional tube amps to pop out of a mix and also let the other elements in the mix be big and powerful too. So we're doing a lot of that except for the key signature stuff. The other thing we're doing for the same reason is scaling back on the gain. Again, listen to The Blood of Gods, you'll hear this kind of sounds we're doing a lot of it. The thing is, when you have really high gain guitar sounds, it's fun to play with tons of gain, but really high gain guitars tend to smear and kind of push back into the mix. So when you clean up guitars, they pop forward. Like listen to an AC/DC record, super clean guitars, and they pop right out of the speakers. So we're not going AC/DC clean, but we are going a lot cleaner than a lot of modern metal records might do. The other thing we're doing is a very simple, low-tech trick. And let me actually show you that. So here is the big high-tech trick. So we've got Marshall 412 cabinets, single Shure SM57 on the grill, very typical. We've got another one set up over here, Shure SM57 on the grill. But this is the important thing right here. Notice I've got just a packing blanket there and actually an acoustic panel made from high density fiberglass. And what this is doing is dampening the sound in the room. Because this isn't a huge room. Let me go to wide angle lens so you can see it. It's not a huge room, and there's actually a fair amount of acoustic treatment in it. But just with my cell phone SPL meters, we were doing about 128 dB SPL at the amp. And that's a lot of volume. And when there's that much volume, it is really exciting the air in the room. And even though this mic is so close here, sound actually does bounce back off the walls and the floor and get into it. And that sort of creates smearing from phase distortion and delay. And so if you go and actually deaden the area around, you actually reduce a lot of those early reflections and phase problems. Important thing here is these acoustic panels, you'll notice they don't have hard wooden backs. Because if you did this with acoustic panels that have hard wooden backs, it would actually go and create problems for you as much as it would fix. So I hope you enjoyed this very high production value video. But yeah, these are really simple tricks, but can be really, really powerful. And I find they all help me to keep guitars sounding big and jumping out of the speakers.